Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. Today we have a very important video in regards to the macro scale. Guys, I've discussed it in previous videos. I'm going to be discussing it again today. There is an uptrending weekly logarithmic line on the Bitcoin macro charts that is very visible now. Not many people are talking about it though. That has existed in previous cycles, and it begs the question, is history repeating? Now, in previous cycles, a similar logarithmic line that forms from the bottom, just like this line has come through and held the support throughout the entirety of the bull market and only been lost at the very end of the bear market, hence giving you a very good idea of where Bitcoin should go during the bull market and where Bitcoin should bottom out in the next bear market. The lines that have existed previously in the 2014, 2018 cycles have shed a lot of light on these questions. Now, look, it's up to the charts, obviously, as to whether this line is going to give as much clarity as it did the last two times again, but there is a very good chance that it will. So we have to look into that because obviously understanding that, we could get a very good idea about where Bitcoin's going to go in the next bull market in 2025 and also where it's going to go in 2026. So there's a lot of clarity to be given here. I'm going to look into it throughout the course of the video. I highly recommend you stick around to the end because new information is going to be sprinkled throughout the video. I'm going to be looking into the validity of the line, whether it will actually hold this time. And if it does, I'm going to be giving you some price targets, potential price targets for Bitcoin. So very informative video, very useful video for macro investors of Bitcoin. Guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. Guys, hope everyone is going well. Let's get right into this video here today. What are we looking at? Well, today we're looking at three charts and we're connecting these three charts together to get a good idea about where Bitcoin is going on a macro scale and where it could possibly go on a macro scale. Now, everyone knows about the 4-year cycle. It's common knowledge, okay? Everyone knows about the 4-year cycle. Maybe they don't know about it to the extent of which they should know about it, but they do know about it, at least vaguely. Basically, a 4-year cycle is something triggered by the halving, started in 2012. It kicks off as per the name, 4-year cycle in which we have 4 years, 1 year of bull market, 1 year of bear market, 2 years of accumulation. Right now, we're in the first year of accumulation. 2024 is meant to be the second year of accumulation. 2024 is also where we're seeing the halving, and hence the new cycle would kick off. And then after 2024, we'll see a bull market. That will probably start at the end of 2024, but basically the reason why I'm showing you this chart, the reason why I need to even talk about the 4-year cycle is because you need to understand that on a macro scale, Bitcoin acts cyclically. Bitcoin follows a pattern. It's not just random. It doesn't just randomly go upwards. It follows a pattern, okay? As you see on the chart, bull market here, 2 years of accumulation, another bull market, right? And there's bear market over here. So bull market, bear market, 2 years of accumulation, another bull market. It's 4-year cycle. We're in this cycle right now. We saw a year of bear market. We're entering our second year of accumulation soon, and then we'll see a bull market. It's pretty set in stone. It's valid until it's not. Right now it's valid, therefore it's valid, and all we need to do is follow it. So why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you this because you need to understand that within a cycle, there are going to be similarities. Now, if you zoom into different parts of the cycle, you can see there are going to be similarities. Now, one of the similarities that I've found more recently, and this is something I haven't discussed too much on a longer term time frame on my channel, but it's something that I've found recently, is there's a potential pattern forming here with an uptrending yellow line that happens each cycle. Now, let's look into this. And look, first and foremost, I need you to understand this, okay? As per the 4-year cycle, it is expected that the next Bitcoin top for a bull market, okay, will be in late 2025, say October 2025, November 2025, somewhere around there. That's when the next top will be. So with that knowledge, let's go ahead and draw a vertical line on Bitcoin at around Q4 2025. Let's just say October for sake of clarity. This is when the next bull market top will be, this pink line here. That is when the next bull market top will be as per the 4-year cycle. That's going to be relevant in a second. We'll bring it back in a second, but let's look into this chart here first. Okay, focus your attention on this uptrending yellow line here in 2012. We formed an uptrending yellow line in 2012 that we held for support over a long period of time, formed it in 2011, held it for support for years and years and years. We finally deviated away from it. We went upwards massively during the bull market. We found our bull market peak, okay, all the way up here. And then we finally came all the way back down and we dropped below the line. We hit a resistance support flip on the line and that marked the bottom, and we never tested the line ever again. That happened in the first cycle. That could be a coincidence, you know, who knows? But the fact that it happened in another cycle again adds some validity to the claim that sometimes we see these lines, and these lines actually could be very important. So again, we saw at around the bottom, okay, at the bottom actually, an uptrending line, okay, 2015, an uptrending line here at the bottom, okay? We held it for support for a long period of time, at multiple years, just like back here in 2011, multiple years holding it for support. We then deviated away from it, just like the previous cycle. We went upwards in a bull market. We didn't test it for a long period of time. A lot of people wouldn't have forgot about it. And then we finally came down, we dropped below it, and we actually retested it for resistance while marking, again, the bear market bottom, just like we did in the cycle before. So already there's a slight trend forming here with uptrending lines. Now, this one is a bit of a stretch, okay? Granted, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's still there, okay? There was an uptrending line that formed on the bottom, just like the previous two lines here in 2018. We retested it during COVID. We deviated away from it at a similar part of a cycle, okay, which was around COVID. We formed the bull market, we came down, and we actually dropped below it. We saw a resistance support flip on it, and that marked the bottom, just like in the previous two cycles, okay? So, again, we saw a resistance support flip on the line, it marked the bottom. We saw a resistance support flip on the line, it marked the bottom. We saw a resistance support flip on the line over here, and it marked the bottom. Now, obviously, that one in 2018 is a bit of a stretch. Like, it's not entirely valid, but technically it's still there. I'm not going to discount it completely. But the fact of the matter is, okay, it's still there to a certain extent, and that means that we've seen some form of valid uptrending diagonal support line, ascending support line on the macro charts, on the logarithmic scale, in each of the three separate cycles so far, and we are seeing the fourth one forming. So to some extent, now it could be unrelated to the 4-year cycle theory, that's for sure, but given what we've seen in regards to the line not being tested during the bull market and then coming down and being tested and marking the bottom in each of the three bear markets now, it does seem to have some sort of validity, at least it did in the past. Now, that's not to say it's going to hold again. That's not to say it's going to do the same thing again, but it could. Okay, it could. Okay, so what do we need to look at here? All right, we need to look at what would happen again if this line did hold again, just like it did last time. So again, we have a line. Let's delete this 2018 line just because it's cluttering the chart, but it is there. Just remember it is there. We have a line, just like in previous cycles, that is forming from around the bottom, okay? It's being retested constantly now. And just like in previous cycles, okay, it was retested constantly, as you can see, for about a year. Retested constantly for about a year before finally deviating away from it. Right now, we're in the phase in which we're retesting it constantly, so it's normal. And eventually, if we are going to follow what happened in previous cycles, we should deviate away from it around the end of next year. So we're retesting this line constantly now. And given the fact that, you know, we could be following some sort of trend where this line remains valid, and this line remains a support for a decent period of time, just like it's done in the last cycles, in which case we would need to hold this line. So we could say that, okay, well, if it's going to follow what's done in previous cycles, Bitcoin needs to hold this line for a decent period of time. It needs to then deviate from the line in the bull market. It then needs to break down from a line in the bear market and mark the bottom at around the line there, and then go up for the next cycle. Now, that looks relatively unrealistic, obviously, and it does assume that Bitcoin will reach very, very high prices, such as prices like 400k, 500k, 600k in the next bull market. I don't think Bitcoin will go that high, but that is what the line suggests. So this is where we really start to face the two scenarios, okay? So in order to understand both scenarios, I need to demonstrate to you something that's on a separate chart here, that's on a separate trend. There is reasonable evidence, okay, to assume that Bitcoin will reach an all-time high sometime between April 2024 and November 2024. How do I come to this conclusion? Well, there's two separate trends here to look at. The first trend is, okay, and they're both primitive trends. They're not actually trends yet. They've seen two data points, not three, but I think one of them will succeed, and there's reasons I believe that. I've discussed them in the past. Basically, there is a primitive trend here, a forming trend in which Bitcoin sees around a 350% gain between the bottom and the halving. Okay, it saw it over here, it saw it over here, and if we see that once more, okay, a 350% gain between the bottom and the halving will bring us to around 70k by around April, therefore new all-time high in April. And if we see a 1,100 days between the all-time high and the fresh all-time high, which we've seen on two occasions, that would bring us to an all-time high in November 2024. Therefore, both of these trends are primitive, both of these trends are unproven, but it's very, very likely that at least one of them is proven, one of them remains true. Therefore, we can say with a degree of very likely, look, a degree of certainty, it's definitely not certain, but we can say with a degree of certainty, we can be relatively confident in the fact that Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high sometime between April 2024, let's draw them in, April 2024, and around November 2024. We can say that with some degree of certainty. It's definitely not certain, but there's definitely some argument to be made there based on these two primitive trends that Bitcoin will reach an all-time high around that period of time, April 2024 or November 2024, and that one of these trends will remain true. So here's the two scenarios we face, okay? Scenario 1, and it's actually a valid scenario. Because of this, it's a valid scenario. Because of this data we just looked at, it's a valid scenario. Where is the all-time high? The all-time high is here at 69K. Scenario 1 is we do what we did in previous cycles, and we just straight up hold this line. We just hold this line, and we reach the all-time high in 2024, as expected, between April and November 2024. We hold the line, we reach the all-time high, and this line holds, and therefore this line actually has a chance of doing something like it did in previous cycles, in which we deviate from the line afterwards. We go upwards massively, come down, bear market, we bottom out there. That's unlikely, okay, because you'd have to go very, very high for that line to remain valid, but it's still possible. It's not like it's impossible, it's just unlikely. Now, what isn't unlikely is holding that line. I don't think that's particularly unlikely. I just think it's too hard to say whether it's likely or not. The fact of the matter is, it's pretty rich saying, oh, we can't do that. We can't hold the line until 2024. We can't go that high while holding the line. It's pretty rich saying that, right? Because we did it in the previous cycle. We did it in 2016, and we did it in 2013, 2014. So why can't we do it this time, right? We did it before, we can do it again. So I think there is definitely a case to be made that Bitcoin could just hug this line all the way up until at least mid-2024, reach new all-time high, and then from there, we don't know what happens. Scenario 2, and we don't have to do that, by the way, it's just that it's not ridiculous to say that could happen. That's what I'm saying, because the alternative trends, the independent trends suggest that is possible based on the price points and the date ranges they give us, which match up with that line holding for support. So we very well could hold this line until that period of time, until a new all-time high. And that would be bullish. The other scenario is Bitcoin breaks down from this line, because we do actually have a triangle forming here. Okay, Bitcoin breaks down from this line, and it doesn't repeat the trend it's seen in previous cycles, or perhaps a line forms somewhere else. Okay, we break down from this line, and then we still see a correction, we still go up, and we still reach all-time high there. Either way, I do think that Bitcoin will see an all-time high in between April and November 2024. It's just kind of the easy path and the hard path. The easy path is we hold the line, okay? The hard path is we correct downwards, we jump around for a bit, and then we come up and make a recovery. So either way, I do think Bitcoin is going well, but this line could be the perfect, easy way to get there. You know, if we've got a line like this that we had in previous cycles that we just need to hold, and we just hold all the way up, isn't that just glorious? Isn't that just amazing, right? For macro simplicity, I mean, we did it in previous cycles on 2 occasions. We can certainly do it again. And people say, oh, you know, oh, Wolf, but you know, Wolf, that would be too easy, and the whales and the manipulators. It's like, okay, mate, calm down, settle down, okay? The 4-year cycles happen 3 times. This line can happen 3 times, okay? So let's not completely discount that. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't have the evidence to say it's going to happen or not. But it certainly is a scenario. As I said, there's 2 scenarios. Scenario 1 is we hold this line until new all-time highs. Scenario 2 is we correct downwards, we chop around, and then we come back for a recovery. But either way, I do believe that at this point in time, there is adequate reason to believe that Bitcoin will see an all-time high sometime between April and November next year. And to simplify that further, I think Bitcoin will see an all-time high before November, or in November, so before December next year. And I think this line does add potential pathway, a clear pathway to get there to this trend. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Check out the Bitget exchange, 5 times lower fees than Binance, optional KYC. You know, low fees, copy trading, everything you need, protection fund, reserves information. They've also got a raffle going on right now, and you can sign up using my referral link to enter this raffle. Also get a 15% trading fee discount for life on the exchange. Check all that out. Best exchange in the market for sure. I reached out to these guys for a partnership. They did not reach out for me. And then we've got Crypto Academy. If you want to learn how to trade, this is the place you can do it. We want to learn how to analyze charts, take trades, strategies for trading, indicators, market patterns, candlesticks, market psychology. Literally everything you need is on the website and on the course, of course. And you can email us here on the website email address, and we'll get back to you very briefly with all the information you might need, as well as answer any questions you might have. And then finally, guys, the VIP group. If you want to trade altcoins with us on VIP, make some good money. We just had an excellent trade this morning on VIP. And we had an excellent trade yesterday as well on VIP, both of which have been extremely profitable. For example, I'll bring up the trade for you and just show you. A nice little short position here on EGLD, and that led us to a profit point of around, from the breakdown, let's go ahead and just take a look at the profit point right now, a profit point of around 56% on 10x leverage. So beautiful little trade there that activated within 48 hours of posting the signal. So great stuff there. If you want more trades like that, check out VIP group, 79% win rate. So this happens very, very regularly. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.